Weather can change everything. My name's Gary Dean. I'm your Blue Hat Bucket List traveler. I did 34 cruises in 43 months. And in that same 43 months, I drove all 48 states and 10 provinces. So did a lot of traveling in 3.5 years. I'm actually in Cape Town right now doing my 34th cruise and last cruise, saw the world by cruise ship. Going out of Cape Town up through West Africa and then through Canary Islands into Vigo, Spain, and then over to London, and we're done. And I'm done. That's it. Won't see me cruising anymore unless it's like a family event or something, and then it's low key. But yeah, wanted to see the world. I did it, and I'm happy about it. So I'm in Cape Town right now filming. I got here. You always got to get here 2 days early. Don't want to miss the ship, right? So long flight. I come from the West Coast, so 5 hours to New Jersey and EWR, and then from EWR to Cape Town nonstop, 14.5 hours. So a lot of flying yesterday, and now I'm 9-hour time changing from West Coast North America to Cape Town. So I'm up early. I think it's I don't know, 6 p.m. back home, and here it's like 5 a.m. or whatever the math is. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, anyways, I'm happy about it. They're 9 hours behind, so you have to go backwards if you're trying to figure out the time. 5 and 4, 8 p.m. maybe there, something like that. And now it's 5 a.m. here. Next day, I know their future. I'm in their future. So weather, and this is a perfect example. I don't even Google, right? I booked this cruise because I want to see Cape Town. I want to see West Africa, so this is how it's going to go. So I get into Cape Town, and it's very cloudy, beautiful sunset. I posted a couple shorts, really pink and, just really beautiful, but that's because it's cloudy. So I said to the guy, so what's happening? And he said, well, it's your spring, and this is our start of winter. We're opposite. We're Southern Hemisphere. It's like, yeah, true, okay. So yeah, gonna be rainy and chillier and whatnot, no cold like we have back home, but still weather-wise, if you're traveling, you want to go when it's gonna be dry season, right? And this isn't gonna be. So, and again, the same drum as I have in other videos, they're doing this cruise to move this ship over to do Europe. It's May, so they're going to do the Europe season with the NCL Sun. It's probably going to go do, I guess, I didn't look because I don't care. I've already been all over Europe. But my guess would be it's starting in London. It's probably going to go to Ireland, Scotland, back to London, and then it'll go from London and it'll start doing, Paris up through Spain and Italy, and then do some Italy, and then do some, Norway, and it'll do different circuits, but it'll do Europe. So bottom line is they're just moving this ship to get it over to Europe. So they don't really care what the weather is here. They're done. The season has ended, and now they need to move this ship, and it's the end of the season, I guess is what you would say, right? And they're getting it over to Europe for the start of the season. So end of the season is end of the season. Not a great time to be in Cape Town weather-wise. I would assume it's like most places that have dry and wet seasons, and that means afternoon rain, and probably not like all afternoon or anything. It's just going to be 2 or 3 hours like that. And so the weather challenges, you have to, if you're doing like me and you're doing by itinerary, and there was a ton of people on that plane that came from New Jersey to here that are doing this cruise. The plane was sold out, and that's why, I met 5 of them already in the lobby. I'm staying at the Holiday Inn Express downtown Cape Town, and I already met 5 people that are doing this cruise. And I met a bunch at the luggage rack. I don't know if they never asked me if I do videos or anything, but, say hi to Tom and whatnot. Tom was from Colorado. He done lots and lots of cruises, but he does all different lines, whatever him and his wife get the deal. So I guess this one wasn't sold out, so he got a good deal and he got good airfare, and so here he is. But yeah, as far as weather goes, a lot of times, if you got a good price, the reason is because of weather. Cruising especially, maybe for all, supply and demand. So demand would be low if most people know it's not a good time to go. Got a good deal on trip to Florida for July. Yeah, you did. It's going to be 120 degrees with 140% humidity, hurricanes rolling around the Gulf. So honestly, you can get down there and blue sky and beautiful every day, right? Bit of afternoon rain. Not a big deal. It's just if that storm starts coming, then your trip is over, right? You're gonna have to get out of there. Is that worth it or not? You can decide that, right? With the cruising, same with resorts. Actually, we'll talk about resorts. I've seen lots of good deals. Mexico would have good deals in the off season as well, off season pricing, and that's because it's going to be wet. some of those, usually again in the afternoons, but it can set in for days. It just depends on the weather patterns and possible hurricanes, and that's all part of the deal. If you've traveled a lot like I have, you soon realize if you wanted to have perfect weather all the time, you would have to have 4 places, because everything's about 3 months. Right now, I live in Thailand. I retired to Thailand. So weather-wise, middle of November, and then December, January, February, March, a bit of April. You got 4 or 5 months of perfect, pretty much blue sky, not a drop of rain weather. And after that, then you're going to get the afternoon rains and sometimes more rains and sometimes heavy downpours. And, it's going to be whatever it is. And there's drier areas of Thailand too. The Hua Hin is one of the driest. I live in Pattaya, but I might check out Hua Hin if it gets too wet in Pattaya. Hua Hin is drier. So it just depends where you are. So if I want, I don't want to travel, but if I got tired of it, you can leave Thailand weather-wise. Getting too wet, you can go over to Vietnam, Da Nang. It's drier in May and June than Thailand, so you can get April, May, June. You could get 3 months there, right? And then North America, you get the summer, July, August, September. You're gonna get your 3 months, and then now you need October, November, December for your 4th place, and that gets a little harder. Like I said, Hua Hin's drier in Thailand, but still wet season. So now you're looking at like Vegas, in Arizona or Spain. You need to dodge all the weather. You would need be a nomad and roam around, which I don't. If it's rainy, I just don't go out. How about that? That's a solution. But if you're booking trips and you're traveling, then if you're booking by itinerary like me, you just take what you get. That ship is going to do these different places in the world, and there isn't a regular Cape Town run or West Africa run. They're just going by there to get this ship out of here, right? It's not like they're every 2 weeks they're going to do a loop. No, it's happening once or twice a year. So I get in here by itinerary. So weather is what it is. I got a rain poncho, and I've been 90% lucky. I've had a few, the pictures definitely look better on a blue sky day, right? My opinion of places when it's sunny versus when it's cloudy, I like them a lot more when it's sunny. I can't give an honest opinion of any place if it's been a cloudy, dreary day, because I didn't see, that dampened my mood of the place. But I've been 90% lucky, and I'll take those odds any day. Cruise ship wise, though, I've had some crazy rough crossings. Even flying here, actually, from New Jersey to Cape Town, 14 and a half hours, was a pretty bouncy flight. The seatbelt sign was on, I would guess, probably 7 of those hours. They're 2026, they're a little more after some of those, people have been hurt in the turbulence and whatnot. The jet stream's a little more bouncy than it used to be. So it is what it is. But yeah, I would say almost half the flight that seatbelt sign was always on. And they were coming by. They didn't want people getting up using the washroom, nothing. They wanted you in your seats. And yeah, I was a little tired when I got here. It's hard to sleep, when the ship's rocking and people are people are starting to. I get obviously been around the world a few times, so I've been on a lot of planes, and I still get a little jumpy when they start. I say a little little airplane prayer, that the thing is built right and it's not old, and it can take that, because it's a pounding. And now cruise ship crossings, I did Seattle up to Alaska, and then from Alaska to Tokyo. And the Alaska to Tokyo was there was 4 hurricane typhoons out there, and we were bouncing and rolling and trying to find a way to get to Tokyo, and it was crazy bad. And I've left Orlando with a hurricane approaching, and we were supposed to go straight east, and we ended up going down south around Cuba, and all the way down and loop back around to get to go east, just to get away from that storm. 28-foot waves that night. That was one of my roughest. Didn't get much sleep. So weather-wise, if you're cruising, it can be rough oceans. If you're flying, it can be bouncy. If you're driving, it can be wet and slippery. I've driven September driving through the South USA, and I did that raindrops the size of your car, literally police escorting cars to the next rest area. So bad flooding, and I've been through North Carolina in floods. So, just weather-wise, if you got to do it in that time, this is when I can go, this is when I'm going, then you just live with it, deal with it. Don't complain about it. If you want to get on there and do your homework, Google's your friend, How much rain does Cape Town get in May? There's your answer, right? Do you want to go in May? How much does it get in December, January? Probably none. Answer your question. And then it's budget. Can you afford to go when it's not going to be crazy weather, right? That's all your trade-offs. Luckily I booked by itinerary, and I did it when I was on a push to get this done before I reached 60, and it's May and I turned 60 in July. So I accomplished my goal with a month and a half to go. Happy with that. Gonna retire from traveling. It's gonna, you'll still see me because I roam around just to try to find drier weather in my retirement. So you'll see me in Wahin, you'll see me in Da Nang, you'll probably see me in Vegas and Arizona and places like that. I'm always up for some travel that way. But as far as this extensive travel, not gonna do it. I'm just gonna be a weather traveler now. I'm gonna go when it's a good time to go. Except for Thailand, I have a condo there year round. So, I'm gonna be there sometimes in the wet. But other than that, I'm gonna look for the dry spots. ChatGPT says Spain is great weather-wise, but very expensive. So trade that off. Because I wanna be by the beach. Let's just say that too. Obviously Vegas and Arizona, not by the beach. But I like either very hot and swimming pools, or I prefer beach and walking the beach. So that's usually where you'll find me. Blue Hat Bucket List Traveler. Pick your weather, pick your poison, price or wet. Cheers.